Mustafa and David, who are 3,656 kilometers apart, have stayed in touch since they met a few months ago, far from their respective homes in Bergantiños and Hudiksvall. Nearly every day they talk about music, their studies, their girlfriends, new experiences, and every now and again about the thing they love that brought them together: sport. What is shape? An introduction to the holistic concept in sport. And plays with Bergantiños Football Club in the town where he's from, in Galicia, northwest Spain. The club currently has 240 kids between the ages of 4 and 16 and 15 trainers. Mustafa, who's 17 years old, studies in one of the largest secondary schools in Sweden, Broman Gymnasiet, where he regularly plays floorball and ice hockey. They both take part in a European project called SHAPE, which, in line with the Europe 2020 strategy, aims to bring about a fundamental transformation of education and training in order to address the new skills and competences required from young people.
The cricket team can start up here.
The project, which currently involves representatives from the fields of sport and education from Spain, Sweden, the UK and Lithuania, strengthens cooperation with colleagues from other countries, education, training and young people. The first contact took place in Lithuania last November as a sporting and intercultural meeting.
I think the sport is a really good opportunity to build a skill, the social skills. And when it came up in the international, the kids are like making friendship with the other kids with the other countries from other sports. So they do a communication and learning like new sports. Like here in the sports center, we had opportunity to be introduced to cricket, floorball. So these kind of sports are really rare in Lithuania, and through this interesting activity. So when it's interesting, so every person can learn it efficiently.
Despite the fact that sport has traditionally been considered as just another facet of the different activities that take place in schools, in recent years, a new concept has begun to be applied that considers sport as a focal point, which boys and girls can make use of in order to improve all of the other aspects of their life. It's what's known as the holistic approach, which is based on the idea that every human being is unique, at the same time as being connected with everything around them. In other words, every human being is part of a hologram, or a whole that includes its component parts. SHAPE came about as a result of applying this concept to sport, with the slogan, "Promoting a holistic education of young people through sport."
El evento en Lituania supone sobre todo una capacidad increíble de interacción entre los niños. La posibilidad de interaccionar a través del idioma, la posibilidad de interaccionar a través de la cultura, la posibilidad de interaccionar a través de todo lo que les está uniendo en este caso, que es el deporte, independientemente del deporte que practiquen. Unos practican fútbol, otros practican floorball, cricket, pero lo más importante de todo es que todos interaccionan y todos se conocen a través de un mismo nexo de unión, que es el deporte.
The interaction is not just on the sports field. The interaction is off the field as well. And so what we have seen from this partnership is that our children have come out and they've not only are they coming to Lithuania for the first time in their lives, but a lot of them have never been to Sweden. A lot of them have never been to Spain. And so before we even came out, we were learning vocabulary, the language, a few words from the languages, and trying to teach them that. When they came out, initially the children are in their separate groups. Yes, they only talk in their own groups. And as the days have gone on, they've started to sort of not only sort of play with each other on the sports fields, but they've started to talk to each other off the sports field. And now in the evenings, you know, they are forming friendships that, you know, maybe those friendships will stay with them, you know, for longer than just these few days. So it is great. It's not only on the sports field, it's off as well.
More than being an educational method, SHAPE has a creative, integral approach towards education, which goes beyond the cognitives concept to focus on physical, social, and emotional aspects. Considering that sport has a major educational impact, the changes that occur can be considered as developmental and behavioral skills.
I think that's a really good experience for all of us, because we get to try different sports from different cultures and countries. So I think, yeah, that's good for everyone. It's nice to communicate with different people from other countries. It's funny you get an experience of like communicating in a different way. If you can't speak the same language, you can, I don't know, with your body language you can help each other out.
And it's because SHAPE is an integral experience that goes far beyond sport. Communicative development makes a fundamental role, using the body and non-verbal language to express oneself, practicing and improving other languages, discovering new cultures in a way that is much more powerful and realistic than what a child can learn from a textbook.
That's the ball we use when we play What I've seen in sport is I've seen children that were very insular and didn't talk to people outside of their family, and by being involved in sport and playing as part of the team, they found they start communicating better, and they start enjoying life in general better, to be honest.
I think it's really good to play sports because, as you said, it mixes cultures and you get to learn to know other people and other cultures, and like when we're here we've gotten to talk to Lithuanian people, Spanish people, English people, and they all come from different backgrounds and do things differently, so it's been a really fun experience.
The language barrier is a little barrier, but it's not a big barrier, and they are a different generation, and so they understand each other. And so whereas when we were children, we read books, perhaps we sort of hung out on the corners, what we do with this group and this generation is they have their phones, and they interact with each other on social media, and they understand each other and they understand how their counterparts in other countries work. So to teach each other sport, I think also happens that way. They will be able to pass that message across a lot easier because they are the same age, because they understand how each other works.
Jag tror att all idrott grundar sig i att man är glad, att man har en glädje, att det är lustfyllt och att man tycker om att göra saker. Sen så växer viljan hos individen fram till att satsa på det. Och då måste fortfarande glädjen finnas kvar, men att man har en duktig tränare, att man är motiverad. Och jag som tränare försöker alltid jobba med att försöka få individen att uppleva glädje i utveckling. Och gör de det, så då vill man utvecklas och då blir man bättre och bättre spelare också.
When we're here, for example, now, it doesn't matter that we're from different places and that we have different backgrounds, because we're just here for the sports, and it's just really funny to get to know other people and to be able to hang out with those people, even if they're not the ones that you would be with when you're back at home.
Another interesting contribution made by SHAPE is the new outlook that children acquire by acting as a trainer. Not only as a result of putting themselves in the place of the adult, who will continue to teach them on a day-to-day basis, but instead because of the ability to prove to themselves that they can be useful as a trainer, helping other kids to learn, overcoming the language barrier by using much more than words as a means of expression.
One of the Spanish hit the ball over the hall and it just went over everyone's heads, and it was a bit of a shock really, and it was quite good seeing them bat for the first time and then change them and understand how to bat after it.
When the language barrier, when you try and get them to do something but they don't quite understand you, just like show them.
Because if an adult tells somebody this is what you do, it doesn't always go over to them very well. But if somebody similar to them actually does something or helps them to do something, they tend to learn it. In the same way that adults sometimes just need to see something happen to be able to do it themselves. But you know, in terms of sport, for me, children really learn from participating and being given the opportunity to have a go.
Eventually, by actually showing them, and the children showing them as well, and all the students showing each other, it's been great bonding, and they've managed to work out how to do it between them, and they communicate better, I suppose. People of the same age as well. So yeah, I think that it, not only has the people who've been teaching them developed, but also the students that are learning the new sports or the new ways of working. It's worked really well. Yeah.
It's a good experience. Because you get to teach and play other sports that you haven't tried before, so other countries can teach you other sports, because I like sports. I mainly play cricket and rugby.
Adults like teachers or organizers are like fundamental cultures, things are different in the other countries. So we had the opportunity to make a friendship and do the event, and we met a lot of opportunity of questions to organize this, and we presented, our coaches presented the sports like methodologies like we do in Lithuania, Spanish party, Swedish and England. Of course they teach it us and other partners as well. They are methodics, and they are all very interesting, and everybody is very interested, and they are heard already that they learned a lot from each other.
Tomorrow is going to be a competition, okay? But now the most important is to learn with how can work in Spain in football.
In this encounter, all of the sports that are played are team sports, with all of their intrinsic benefits. Respect for others, taking decisions with the benefit of the group in mind, forming part of a group, or working together to obtain better results. This is something especially relevant, as there is one aspect that is fundamental for the clubs and trainers, apart from all the contributions that have previously been mentioned. The shape meetings provide a setting with the perfect conditions to share and discuss methods and to benefit from them. Obviously, the techniques used in cricket can't be applied to kayak polo. But you can apply the essence, the priorities, and the philosophy on which the learning system is based, both with regard to the different cultures and countries and to the sport in particular.
Por un lado es importante porque va a aportar este proyecto un material para todos los entrenadores o para todos los profesores relacionado con el deporte que van a poder utilizar, sobre todo ideas y metodología de trabajo. Y por otro lado, supone que estamos demostrando aquí en Lituania que esa metodología de trabajo y esa forma de llevar a cabo las cosas se puede realizar con diferentes estudiantes de diferentes colegios y de diferentes países y al final lograr lo que realmente queremos. Para ello lo que principalmente hemos tratado de comunicarles es que en España tratamos de realizar un entrenamiento en el que confluyan todos los aspectos, la técnica, la táctica y la preparación física, que todo esté unido en un trabajo interactivo a través del juego, en donde ellos lo que intentan es, a través de pensar, a través de interpretar situaciones reales de juego, cómo resolverlas y dentro de esos ámbitos trabajamos todos los aspectos.
You have to start at the very basics, because if you go to the higher steps, they won't have the courage, and if you're trying to do a flip without courage, you'll probably land on your back or on your neck because you don't have the power or the will to go around. And it's very important to speak to the students and ask them, do you want to do this? And explain every detail for them to be able to do it.
I think children learn best by doing and just adjust slightly each time. You know, if you try to get them to do everything spot on to start with, then they can get a bit frustrated. But you know, just to get them to develop in it and move it up.
Despite the differences in the methods used, they all have something in common. They are aimed at making the kids extrapolate the things they learn and to apply the corresponding results and effects obtained from playing sport to each of the decisions they take in their lives. As an example of the positive relationship between physical activity and psychological development, the kids themselves are aware of the importance and the fundamental role that sport will play in the future in both their personal and professional life.
Yeah, it's good to sport because then you get more concentrated in school, and that's important if you want higher grades. And yeah, it's important for everyone who wants to succeed in the future.
Šitas projektas yra naudingas visais aspektais. Atvykę vaikai pažįsta kitos šalies kultūrą, susipažįsta su, gal jų šalyse nebūdingam sporto šakom. Mes pamatom, kaip elgiasi, kaip bendrauja kitų šalių vaikai. Šios dienos treniruotėj nelabai turėjau supratimo, kokio lygio ateis auklėtiniai treniruotė. Taip kad turėjom kelis variantus ir vieną iš jų pabandėm įgyvendinti. Nežinau, ar tai pavyko ar nepavyko.
Que el esfuerzo es muy importante en la vida y que también es importante saber ganar, saber perder, levantarse ante cualquier caída, y es un reflejo, yo creo que estos deportes es un reflejo de lo que es la vida en sí. Por tanto, eso se entrena. Si entrenas bien, juegas bien, y tanto en el deporte como en la vida.
We talk about and we teach about the psychology, and what you need to challenge yourself every day. We talk about that, and the conflict for these young adults, it's much. There's so much going. Is so much into their lives. they are growing up, and then big questions about life. If they're gonna move to another city to start at the university, should they continue to try to become professional in the sport? So that's a conflict for them, and that's why it's so important that we talk a lot with the students.
Jag tror jag absolut att det är jätteviktigt att de yngre ser upp till de äldre, de är en förebild, och det är jätteviktigt hur de äldre beter sig för att kunna visa att så här ska man göra inom sporten som fair play. Så det är jätteviktigt, och det tycker jag att jag såg idag när våra äldre elever då, som kommer från Sverige, då undervisade de yngre och visade dem hur man skulle göra och tog hand om dem.
The sport really helps bring children together from many different cultures, backgrounds, even in our own local community. Children with different interests in sports work together and challenge each other, and they explore different avenues outside of their comfort zone. So it all helps with communication and gives children confidence, and that helps them in their academic work back in the classroom as well.
The sport is one of the greatest opportunities to learn new skills, because it's just like very emotional, very dynamic, and you have to be like in some social skills to make your moves or to coordinate your all activity on the field. And of course, it's without the friendship, it's impossible. So they're learning like friendship and making the new relationships. And this project they're really nice, and we're looking forward to make more of these.
SHAPE is the result of an agreement, a collaborative program between countries, clubs and private companies and sponsors. But at the same time, and more than this, it is a seed that will steadily grow and take shape into what it is. A project for integration with sport as its focal point, as a central aspect in the development of a child, a trainer, a club or a country and a territory. And it will be thanks to programs of this type that the European Union can grow as a whole and in a balanced way, developing with the aim of meeting the challenges of a not too distant horizon, a future that is advancing at an incredibly rapid pace, and to which we will have to adapt in every way, at both educational and social levels.